Does that sound like a good idea for the cold
open?
open?
Man. I feel like we should do something because it's 150. But
We've had some banger cold opens before, but I cannot fucking think of a goddamn thing.
We used our one bald joke too early. We should have saved it for this episode. What?
You know, totally off topic. Go figure, right? But
start the music.
Me and Jake running down the street with a handful of comic books, kicking ass and banging chicks and drinking booze
No, not
and
me.
smoking weed.
Me. I'm married.
Yeah, well,
I'm married.
Jake,
Can't do that.
Yeah. Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.
Episode 150.
Episode 150. Spectacular holiday anniversary special. It's gonna give you the shits.
Well, that's great. That's just fucking great, man.
We got new drops.
Motherfucker. There was no stopping the singing or the swearing this time.
Yeah, fuck you. It's 150. We came out a little strong there.
Wow. Yeah, fuck you. Wow.
Tyler, are you excited, man? It's
Yeah,
150.
man.
We
Woo.
made it.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
I was shocked when we did 100. I was even more shocked at 150. I cannot believe it.
I think it's a testament to us not,
Giving up on...
Not giving up on hope.
That would be the definition of hope for you folks.
Do you think? No, I'm really excited because one of the things that's fun about our podcast is it's really more than anything. It's an excuse for me and my buddy to hang out every week.
You betcha.
You betcha. Midwestern, we're heart of America. Where friends hang out.
Nope, never mind. I was gonna play an old one. We're not playing an old one yet. Forget it.
Go ahead and play one.
Forget it.
But it's turned into something that's really fun, and I really appreciate being here every week. And I'm what's fun is next week is one of the big. There's basically 2 movies this year that I'm really, really excited for after Dune Chapter 2 because we already saw it.
I'm sick of the love fest. You know what you are? You're just
You egg-sucking piece of gutter trash.
one of the new drops.
What is that?
Thanks, Wolverine.
Oh.
He said to Sabretooth, he said,
You egg-sucking piece of gutter trash.
sucking.
I think maybe he would have said, motherfucking, and they were like, it's Disney Plus.
You piece of motherfucking trash.
You fucking piece of trash. But yeah, it's been fun. And Furiosa is this next weekend, Memorial Day. So that'll be fun.
Furiosa and a 3-day weekend.
But we have so much extravaganza like stuff.
Yeah, so new drops. We talked about the
is that all we have?
soundboard overhaul. So we're keeping old drops,
Sure.
incorporating new ones. We got a couple new ones.
Okay.
I like to pepper them in and out, but I'm a big fan of Tyler. And if you ask, I would say he seems like a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
You seem like a nice guy.
I need to get that one louder.
Yeah,
but
what the fuck, dude?
fuck you, man. How's that? You ever heard that one?
You seem like a nice guy.
That's a good one.
Classic.
Classic, man.
So some of these are gonna, I think, get some real good mileage because, like, especially when we talk about some things like Sony later, there's gonna be a real good one.
Well, you can't get away. You can't go wrong with the finish it.
Finish it. Finish it.
Or when I think of that one, I also think of one that we've thought about a long time. We haven't done it. It's first introduction, another Arnold drop, everybody.
Come on, do it. Do it.
Follow that up.
What's the Spider-Man where at the end he goes, "Oh"? You remember that one? It's from Spider-Man.
Godspeed, Spider-Man.
No.
Oh, it's one of them.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you can remember
Well,
which one.
fuck you. How's that?
Wow.
It's game over, man. It's game over.
Okay, so
Also, if we ever talk about something where we really were excited and we don't like it,
Kill me.
what was that?
Kill me!
Come on.
Oh,
Yeah.
sounds like Gomer.
No. I wanted this one. All right. So we're 5 minutes in. Someone's already turned it off.
So
So
should we put on the thing like, hey, skip to this if you're tired? If you're not a fan of nonsense, skip ahead to here.
I was going to use this at the end, but I think it's a proper time to use this. If you don't, you know what? If you stick this out and you don't skip, this is what you're going to feel like.
So I'm coming day and night. I mean, it's terrific.
Wow.
Sometimes I'm just like,
So I'm coming day and night. I mean, it's terrific.
So
it's terrific.
wow. God, I can't remember what the goddamn Spider-Man one is. Do you remember the one? Like at the end, it's Tobey Maguire.
Misery. It's the Misery.
Yes, do
Misery,
we
which I
have
don't
that
have
one?
on here.
Oh,
I know.
it's okay. No, it's okay because you know what? We have better ones and new ones, and
Yeah.
also, we got what we paid for, didn't we?
I got what I paid for.
There you go.
And then most people at this point are thinking,
Why?
That's about right. So of course we got a bunch of extravaganza like things lined up. But first let's get to the news. Yeah. X-Men.
Can we use that as our transition?
I guess so. X-Men 97.
Oh, you know what for this one?
You egg-sucking piece of gutter trash.
No.
Yeah, that's
No,
X-Men 97.
I like the
I don't want to talk about it, dude. I don't care. It was a terrible episode. Terrible show. No, I'm kidding. It was fantastic. Are you kidding me?
I'm just crying because I
Some
put
peop-
so much effort into this fucking episode.
Game over, man. Game over.
So, yes. Let's talk about X-Men 97.
God, it feels like a lifetime ago that I watched that. No, seriously, I've just gone through a lot.
So, this episode really got me more emotional than I expected. So I texted you because I watched it on Friday, and it legitimately made me tear up a few times. Like I legitimately had some tears on my cheek. Because it's such a excuse me. It's such a celebration of how well written these characters are, how well written this show is, that it was such an impactful finale.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest, like I said coming in, I was a basic bitch because I was like, my favorite X-Man is Wolverine. This show has made me, and going back and reading more of the X and learning more about the X-Men lore and going back, realizing that Cyclops is probably the best. I'm not saying he's the best, but for me, I think my new favorite X-Men character is Cyclops. Like, he's so fucking good in this show. And you know what? I'm not upset at all that Wolverine didn't get his, like, he had his moments, but he was in the background. And I'm like, you know what? That's because that's an X-Men story. Like, he's truly not, he's the most popular X-Men character, but some of the best stories, he's not involved. And like the supporting cast is so good in this show. Like when, man, I fucking
the voice acting is beyond compare. Honestly,
like, and we're gonna kind of jump around. Like,
No, but,
at this point,
but
you've seen it, you know it, whatever.
I think Bo DeMeo has said that there was a conscious effort to move away from Wolverine
because all those
stories.
Fox movies
and
focused
let's
on
be
him, yeah.
really fucking honest. The what happened at the end of part 2. Where he gets everything ripped out of his, the adamantium ripped out of him. That's, I mean, leading into shit. That could be a Wolverine-centric story,
but that's
side story.
And that's what I'm saying is, like, this show is so well written and so well done that someone who I like Wolverine a lot.
Yeah.
I'm okay with him.
My favorite is Nightcrawler.
I'm okay with him not getting the central focus because he does have his moments. And, like, this episode especially, it's like, yes, you're seeing more and more. It continues to show you that Scott, in my opinion, and general consensus, I think, for a lot of X-Men readers of the thing of, like, Scott is a better leader than Charles. Let's be honest, Professor X kind of fucking sucks at this.
Well,
He's always been bad at
as
this.
long as I've been reading, like, again, I came in around the time that Paul Smith and then a little bit after that John Romita Jr. started. So we're talking like early to mid 80s when I started reading it. By that point, Professor X was largely like just chilling out at the mansion most of the time. Like Cyclops or Storm was the leader, like in the field and whatnot, and as a general kind of just as a super team, if you will.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, you know, I've never been a huge Cyclops guy. The reason why, you know, my first real introduction to Cyclops, he was in the comics a lot that I read, but I don't know if it was just the Wolverine was a big part of him more often than not. But the real big Cyclops story was when he and Storm fought for leadership and Storm beat him. And he was kind of being a punk about leaving. He had told Madeline Pryor that they would leave as soon as the baby was born. And then he fucking chicken shit out.
And Scott becomes what his dad was to him, and he never wanted to be that guy because his dad abandoned him in his eyes before he finds out about the Starjammers and all that stuff.
Well, what happened? Yeah, sorry.
But yeah,
well, what happened in
the reason I really fucking love Scott and how they did Cyclops in this show, the part that I cried is after Bastion is like ripped off Cable's arm and beat Cable, but Cable was saved by his parents, and he's getting repaired. His arm's getting repaired by Forge, and they're like, Jean and Scott are planning for their final assault pretty much. Like they see this as a suicide mission. They don't think they're going to make it off of Asteroid M pretty much. So she does like a telepathic or projection. Astral projection
dude.
Of them, whatever.
Read a fucking comic book.
She's not a sorcerer, buddy. She's not doing an astral
it's the
projection.
Same thing though.
Anyway, but that moment where he said, they've always said you have my eyes to Nathan, and takes the visor off, and she, like, Jean helps him control the beams. And he says, you have my eyes. No, fuck you. It's a sweet moment. I teared up. Because Scott is fine. Like, Scott is having this tender moment, even though he has to understand like some things about how he loves Nathan. He doesn't care about the circumstances, but there is that thing of like, he's never truly going to get him. There are always going to be ships passing in the night because Cable's destiny is to do this. He's done it 200 times at this point.
Yeah.
You know, and
no, I'm not. See,
I know you're playing with me.
Well, no, but here is something. Here is where like I didn't feel the same sort of emotion because I don't know. I don't have any kids.
You're not a parent,
and I'm also not really close with my dad like at all. So, you know. Wait, hang on. Now I'm gonna start crying right now because now I'm thinking about it.
No.
That's you let me.
No,
just,
fuck you.
You egg-sucking piece of gut trash.
But Cyclops, again, was mostly a punk. But yeah, I agree with you in the respect that this series did a really good job because the movies did fucking punk his ass out.
It's all about Wolverine. Those movies are all about Wolverine.
I like James Marsden, and I think he did the best he could with the material that they gave him, right? And editing goes a lot, whatever. But they did punk him out, and this show did a really good job of bringing back Cyclops as one of the premier X-Men, and he always should. He's one of the originals.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Jean Grey are really the only originals that stick around.
He's still a dude that truly, like, I think, in a similar way where I think Dick Grayson is better than Batman, I think Scott is better and more effective than Charles is at delivering their message. Because there's multiple times.
I'd say you're right.
There's multiple times
Except
in this
for the time
season
when Cyclops killed Professor X in the comics.
Hey, well, we're not getting there, and we're not dealing with that. So multiple times during this show, even in this episode, where it's the most justified for him to kill Bastion. Bastion fucking deserves to die. And he stops. And he says, we're going to show mercy. And it's like, again, to me shows, and you could argue and all this about Charles, like what he does for Eric in this episode, but again, I love that scene with them, but again, it just keeps reminding me that Professor X and Magneto were never good for mutants. They were never good for the X-Men because at some point they're always destined to have this conflict because Charles doesn't understand Eric's pain when he constantly has to be like, I fucking lived in Nazi Germany, man. I saw this shit firsthand, what a genocide is.
Well, when you think, Jesus, can we get some tea with some honey down here? When you think about it, they're flip sides of the same coin, but they're both so rigid in their message, whatever you want to call it, and how it should be delivered. That they're both kind of dangerous for mutant kind, but the X-Men have done a really good job of just kind of taking both, because most of the season they were under Magneto as the headmaster, and they learned some stuff from him, and also kind of he affected them and whatnot. So they're kind of two halves of the same whole, and they're going to be more effective at it. And yeah, Scott's going to be more effective because he's seen how Magneto works. He grew up with Professor X and seen how he works. He's going to be a better leader every time. And yeah, in the comics, don't forget, like Cyclops and Jean Grey are the only ones who don't leave when they have the big reboot with the giant size X-Men with all the I like to call the international team of X-Men because it's the Russian and the German.
Yeah.
And
well, so is Hank. Hank's always been there since the beginning. Beast.
No, Hank left. It was.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm just saying that like Beast was one of the original X-Men.
Right,
because he's been there forever too.
Right, but what and I'm being my glasses pushing up the nose self.
Well, actually,
but yeah. Actually,
but yeah, fuck you. How's that? Try that on for size.
Sorry, man. What do you want?
So, but I will be honest. I did tear up a little bit with Charles and Eric because despite having that feeling towards the two, there is that raw emotion because the episode starts with them having like their mutant coming out story of talking about, and
I really like the framing device that they used.
Good
God. Oh, sorry. Was that just me being loud? I really like the framing device. Sorry, we have
the rising tides. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
water.
just the bar basically. But yeah, all that stuff was very ethereal and very outside the box thinking that I think made the episode that much more effective and
it makes so much sense.
Well, yeah, their whole dynamic is just. You know what? You can do a big. I read an article, and this makes so much, and this is what I'm getting at, is that every like end of Marvel like movies and TV shows and everything, no matter what the show or movie has been about, every single fucking end or climax is a big CGI, big battle fucking thingy, whatever, right? And what do you expect coming into this, right? You expect, holy shit, they're going to kick Magneto's ass for doing this to Wolverine, blah, blah, blah. No, it's subtle. MCU, take note. It's subtle, and instead of a big drawn-out battle, it's these two adversaries meeting in each other's minds.
And forcing each other to have a conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
How fucking cool, and that's way more fucking, that lands way harder.
But again, this continues to be the problem with what's always made Charles and Eric so interesting, and what continues to be the problem and why I think like ultimately they're bad for mutant kind because like you said, they're so firm in their beliefs that giving Eric's backstory and knowing where he's come from, I understand, and I don't necessarily think he's wrong, especially what Bastion did on Genosha.
Right.
And the response, especially the fucking response where they got left, because again, they're the mutants. Fuck them. They're not the Avengers. They're not, and I don't know, maybe in this universe the Avengers haven't formed
dude,
yet.
I'm not
but for sure, like, these characters have existed in these shows.
I'm assuming the Avengers exist.
Because Spider-Man exists. They've showed it exists in this universe.
For a long time, Spider-Man was not in the Avengers.
No, but what I'm saying is, like,
yes.
This episode is, oh my God, dude.
I feel like
We got to get to the cameos at some point.
sure, but I feel like don't you feel like this in this universe all of these characters exist? Like,
And
it's a comic.
Yeah, the point is, after
it's
what
adjacent to the comic universe, if you will.
After we witnessed what happened to Gambit,
Yeah.
and everything that happened on
I hated the
Genosha,
fucking Iron Man design, by the way. God damn.
that's what he looked like in those shows.
I fucking know, and it was stupid.
It sucked then, and it sucks
Suck
now.
now, dude. Suck now.
Fuck them.
Ah.
But no, but yeah, to have because and again, it makes so much sense because of that huge climax of the last episode. You almost have to start here.
Yeah.
Because you have to slow everything down so you can build it back up
How
again.
fucking how much did you think that onslaught was happening at any given moment in this episode? Like the first 15 minutes, right?
I didn't.
Especially when he got
No.
up and like forced his fucking way into his head.
So again, that's another thing I want to talk about. Again, the problem with Charles and the problem.
You didn't think onslaught at all?
Time out. I
Okay.
understand that he truly felt if he didn't do this, there still would be a blackout, and humanity wouldn't have power. Not just humans, but mutants. Everybody would lose power.
Well, they had to fix the.
But again, to get to this goal, he breaks a humongous barrier of consent and
trust.
goes inside this man's mind that he's already in and forces him to do something, which is, again, such a great theme to drive home with this, is saying both of these men
are willing to do
or can think, and they will find ways to justify what they're doing. And again, I'm not even, and that's the writing and all of this, I'm not even necessarily saying that Charles was 100% wrong, because I think he might have had to do that, but it's still wrong.
At that point,
You're still invading you're literally taking away someone's agency. It may be for a few minutes.
Yeah.
But you're still taking that away from someone.
That's something that Charles is
and that's something to do with his character a lot.
well,
yeah.
he's tried to make sure, but throughout the years in the comics, it's kind of been what's the word? Inferred or whatever, that Charles is not always so straight-laced about his abilities. It's kind of been implied that, without really knowing, he's pushed people to do things and influenced people to get what he wants and whatnot.
I mean, how can you not? You can read people's minds. You know what I mean? That's that's his issue with the character. Like, that's the issue with the character,
I have
right?
no
That's
doubt that at his core, that the character of Charles Xavier does his absolute best to not use his powers like just willy-nilly for bullshit. Like, hey, I don't want to take out the garbage, so I'm going to make Colossus do it. Hey,
Yeah.
right, like that. You know what I'm talking
Shit
about?
like that, yeah.
Right, but you can't deny that he is willing to fucking do these things, and
So I didn't. By the
He
way,
does it
I never
tonight,
answered
Nito.
you. I never answered you.
But you didn't think
I
Onslaught?
didn't. I never thought that. I
the only
thought
reason is because I read a bunch of articles that threw that
well,
theory
and
out.
they teased. They kind of teased.
They threw the theory out, and
Yeah.
it made sense. But I was thinking that's too much too soon.
I will tell you this though, where it ends, I 100% knew that's exactly what they were gonna do. In a sense where they said they were displaced throughout time. I'm like, fuck me, they're gonna do Apocalypse, and we'll get to that. But
Yeah, we're good.
I didn't think Onslaught was gonna happen. I truly could, and again,
Well, I'm glad it didn't.
and again, I love that Wolverine's not a part of this because he's obviously out of commission. He just had metal ripped out of his
So
body.
Bo DeMeo says, right? Did you read this
yeah,
tweet?
that Morph's response turning into Gene and telling him that he loved him was a romantic response.
From Morph
From
themselves,
Morph to Wolverine.
which is cool.
Is whatever.
We don't have any punk ass alt right douchebags talking about that.
I guess it's cool. I mean, I don't have an opinion on it. To be
No,
quite
I'm
honest.
saying
no.
like, we don't have a Griff report this week on that. I'm just saying. I'm wondering.
Well, no, we don't.
I don't have those stuff in my algorithm, so I rely on you for that bullshit.
Oh my God.
You really gonna put that on me? Yeah, that's another one.
Corner comes by. Oh my
My
god.
God.
I love how he fucking pantomimes a
Yeah.
cigar.
Yeah.
Get out. Well, get out now.
Some other things like we talked about with Cable and another thing about just the subtlety and the attention to detail when they're all at the end when they're fucking fighting on Asteroid M and they think it might be it, and you see when Scott unleashes all of his power, a fucking tear coming down his cheek. I'm like, God damn it! And what did I have been saying to you for a long time? I've been saying, when X-Men is a fucking soap opera, it is good, man. It is so good. Top to bottom, episode 1 to 10, this has been perfection. And I'm not just throwing that word around. I mean that 100%.
You're not alone in thinking that. Myself included.
Every single fucking episode was great. And it is, some people are saying it. I'm going to put my stamp on it too. I agree. This is the best thing Marvel has done since Endgame, bar none. I loved other projects that they've done, but I think this is to the level of that.
To your point, I think what we talked about, doing DC books or doing Chew in addition to Punisher, just to kind of get away from being, whatever. But I think the reason why these books, Spider-Man to a lesser degree for me, but X-Men so much, is that X-Men reflects a lot of real life. And they're relatable characters, and so is Spider-Man, because they're going through shit that you might go through.
Spider-Man,
but they're also superheroes, and
it's the trope of
man,
that Spider-Man and X-Men are better
so when you're not Superman, you're a fucking reporter who has a hot wife, reporter. So when you're not Batman, you're a billionaire. All right, I don't relate to that shit.
Will you fuck off?
I'm
saying, so sick of your DC.
I am saying that it does become a better thing when it reflects, when it shows life back to you a little bit better.
It's like what I'm saying. It's the trope of it's better when
I hate to say it, but the angst.
When it's long running like this, especially, it's better when the hero loses some it's better when the hero is miserable.
The tragic hero is the best story.
Because every
Star Wars.
It's here's something from pro wrestling. It's always about legit. It is.
I'm cool with that.
It's a use for this. It's all about the chase. It's all about that good guy beating that really fucking bad guy.
Yep.
And you're on that journey with him.
Yes.
And it's going to take a couple months. But when it happens,
and
then
he does
fucking
Thor grabs, and then fucking Captain America grabs Thor's hammer, and everybody fucking erupts in applause.
Fucking tale as old as time. And I will say, this is also an extremely satisfying finale. And the Bastion stuff, they continue to make him such a dickhead, and I love it. And when...
What are you going to do, attack me with the 4th of July?
Yeah, that was great. And then she beats the shit out of him. And then, fucking Beast uses his own Sentinel against him and is crushing him with the weight of his, just pushing down. And then that's the moment, a great moment where Scott shows mercy. And it's just, it's just so satisfying. But even the ending with the cliffhanger, that is satisfying because you know where they're going to go. But yeah, when they landed and he said they're displaced through time, I legit sat there and I was watching it by myself, and I go, they're gonna fuck it, Apocalypse? Serious? Because we talk, they've done so many huge X-Men storylines from years of fucking books crammed into these 10 episodes, and then we're gonna do Apocalypse?
See, here's the thing: is I don't know how much of X-Men lore they went through. I know they went through a lot of it, and pretty faithfully during the original run. But my other thing is that I had no idea where this was going. I honestly, no shit, legit, thought that they were going to put him in the Australian outback. No shit, dude. I was like, that would be cool as fuck. And there's a lot of fans that would have been like, holy shit.
You doing Savage Land?
No, the Australian outback when they died in the comics in Dallas. It was I told you about all that. The adversary and whatnot. For a long time, they lived with the whatever, and that's where the Pierce and the Reavers come from. Yeah. Anyway, so I didn't know what was going on, but when they get to the Clan Ascani stuff, I stopped reading around that time in the comics. But I do know from lore and whatnot that the person they're talking to is another Summers kid.
Yeah.
And that's the one that I'm most familiar with, which is Rachel Summers.
Yes, Rachel.
Known as Phoenix sometimes. I think her name is something else in the comics now. I can't remember. But yeah, Rachel Summers. And her story is tragic because she witnessed all of her friends and family die, and then they enslaved her to become a hound, which is they used her psionic abilities to track and kill other mutants. And then she got sent back through time with Nimrod, and it's a whole deal.
They looked around and they said,
What'd you do?
But she was afraid of telling Scott and
Jean.
because when she came back, Jean had been gone for a while, and her mom and dad were Jean Grey and Scott Summers. So Scott's with Madeline Pryor, so that fucked her up. So she's like, I don't know if I want to tell Scott that he's my dad. And but Rachel's had a complicated history in the comics, so I'm interested to see where that goes. If they bring in Captain Britain and try and do some Excalibur type shit.
Captain Britain?
Communist detected on American soil. Lethal force engaged.
Not under Thatcher. No way, man. She would have stomped that shit out herself.
You know what?
Communism is a lie.
All right, knock it off, Liberty Prime. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Get out.
We're trying to talk. Yeah, the moment when, who are you? My name is En Saba Nur. Like, oh, like we already know, right?
Yeah.
We already know at that point. But still, when he actually pulls his fucking face mask off and he's got
the blue,
right,
yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Oh, come on, right? It was almost as cool as at the end of Days of Future Past.
You know what I felt after watching it?
So I'm coming day and night. I mean, it's terrific.
No, but let's can we talk about a couple two things here real quick while you're collecting yourself.
I ain't collecting shit. All right, go on.
At the end of Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
Okay. It's okay, so we've had First Class and then Days of Future Past in 2 in a row.
That rhymed.
That were great, that are great movies, and it's the end of Days of Future Past, and it's like, holy shit.
I love Days of Future Past. That was
but
a
the
fun
end, right?
movie.
Where it's like,
oh, they brought back all the original
and
Bryan
Sabah,
Singer.
Nur, and Sabah, the whole thing at the end of that movie.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, cool.
And then
And then they
Apocalypse.
fucking shat all over it.
Oh.
They just fucking took a dump on Oscar Isaac, dude. They're like, hey, wear this giant foam fucking suit, you jackass. You got no drop for me? Come on, man. No new one, old one?
My God.
Sure? Where's the boo? Fuck you.
How about you?
Come on, man. You're the keeper
I'll eat
of the
your ass.
sound drops. There you go. I'm not going to eat your ass, though.
Let's move on.
No, but didn't that
Son of a bitch! I've been trying to move on for minutes. Anyway, what were you gonna say? Well, what do you want to fucking say?
Don't you remember how cool that was? Like how excited you were for like, holy shit, they're
Sorry.
gonna do Apocalypse in the movies. And I'm excited for this because they've done such a good job, and they don't have to fucking whatever continuity that Fox was trying to do with the X-Men.
Yeah.
But they don't. But they have their own thing going on.
Yeah.
And they can do it however they want. And here's the other brilliant part: they can jump a storyline from the 70s to one from the 90s and back to one from the 80s, and fans of all generations are going to be like, oh, fucking cool, I remember this. And they can do it if they write it the right way, which they've been doing. I'm fucking stoked, man. I'm fucking stoked. You got no drop for me? Come on. What the fuck? Sorry.
Sloppy.
I love you.
I tried to on out of here.
I fucking hate that one. You get better ones. There you go. Oh, okay. I don't fucking hate you for real. I actually love you.
I love it when
I love you.
Come on now. What I'm talking about.
A shooby-doo. Okay, Okay, so we used to have, and we still have, a rating system.
That's how I want to get in.
A rating system. And now the one was, the nice was it's okay, right?
Yeah.
And then the touch and bust I thought was,
Yeah.
and then boo fuck you was it sucks.
Because, yeah, we did for a while. But then it was touch and bust. But I'll be quite honest, I don't know about...
So I'm coming day and night.
I mean,
it's terrific.
It's okay. Who is that?
It's Arnold from the movie Pumpin' Iron. He talks about every time he gets the pump, it's like coming.
Okay.
So he's coming down.
Cool. I mean, it's not my favorite.
Wait, pumping or
Both.
tonight's game show of pumping or coming?
Pumping or coming. You get to guess. You're gonna have a celebrity partner. Then there's some dude behind the podium. Why don't you guess who's coming on the show?
So what do you got for me today, Tyler?
Well, in the spirit of synergy, and let's have like 3 corporations run the entire fucking universe. This would be a perfect time. For you. Jesus Christ, man!
America will never fall to communist invasion.
Sleeping on the goddamn job.
Death is a preferable alternative
Prime
to
dude.
communism.
What's his name?
Liberty Prime.
Prime dude. Listen, Prime dude.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Interesting that's Bill Paxton because he was in a Terminator movie.
Oh, fucking great. Thanks for the knowledge. I'm sorry.
Get out of here.
I could write a book about what you don't know.
So, but it's Doritos Baja Fiery Mango, and you know that Baja gear, Baja-versary, you know what that means? We're talking Mountain Dew.
What?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So this is a Baja Blast flavored fiery mango Dorito.
I'm just saying, no shit, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Pepsi and Doritos are in cahoots.
No, Pepsi owns Doritos.
Great.
Because, like, again, 6 corporations
They
run...
own the world, and that's what...
Communist detected on American soil.
Shit.
Lethal force engaged.
All right.
We're sorry.
Put your hands up.
I'm just imagining this big fucking robot in the corner of
Okay.
my basement.
Are you done yet? Okay, good. Okay.
It's my right-wing grandpa.
It's provable that there are literally only like 3 heads of like companies that control everything you consume on a daily basis, and the only way we're gonna get around this is.
Can we get to the fucking chip?
I thought you were gonna do another.
Dude, let me live my life, man.
Communism is a lie.
That guy won't let you. Okay, so what is it supposed to be? Collect coins. So fiery mango Doritos.
Yeah, fiery. Right into the mic.
Well,
Yeah, skip ahead if you don't want to hear this. Fuck you if you
why
don't.
was it Scottish? Fiery.
It's your fault. It's your fault. Be mad at yourself.
Whoa. Like an ocean in my mouth.
It's like a shark came all over me.
So I'm coming day and night. I mean, it's terrific.
That shark, man.
See, it's growing on me.
We got a fucking diverse Arnold drop.
Do we?
I'm ballsy.
Holy fuck, that's hot. That's spicy shit. Wow.
Well, it's fiery.
My butthole's gonna pay for that later.
Get your ass to Moss.
You know what'd be good if after I said my butthole's gonna pay for that earlier or later? A good one for that after that is I'll eat your ass.
No.
What'd you do?
Next one. Yep. What's our rating? I'm gonna give it a
It's okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
double. Tyler? Fucking
Nice.
Don't freak out on your phone when I'm drinking. I was about to spit out. I'm
Tap
gonna spit it out. Dude, that shit
That's
is
what she
hot.
said.
Wow.
That is fiery, Tyler.
It is fucking fiery.
What do we got now, Tyler?
Well, we have a Oreo Sour Patch Kids flavor.
Ugh.
What in the name of God is all that holy?
This is
Jesus
the problem
Christ.
with fucking capitalism.
Sour, sweet.
We have
Oreo.
gone too far.
Okay, so they always say, if you're like me, when you see a new flavor of Oreo, you look to see what it says, like the cookie and the cream, right? Underneath, right?
That's the
And it's
title of my
Sour Patch Kids. That's awesome. The cookie and the cream.
I'm coming day and night. I mean, it's terrific.
Fuck off. Can we get a picture of you like on a bearskin rug?
with cream, cookies and cream.
No, the cookie and the cream. That's what it's got to be called.
The cookie and the cream.
Yeah. You want a bear? Okay. So Sour Patch Kids flavored cookie. Okay. And then cream with colorful inclusions. You need to go to the doctor.
Just open this thing, man.
Open it. Come on.
Come on.
Do it. Do it.
Give those people air.
Come on, Cohagen. You got what you want. Give these people air.
Damn it, Arnold. I heard you the first time. Okay, so what I'm guessing is that it's Sour You just won't leave us alone. It's Sour Patch Kids flavored cookie and cream. So everything is flavored Sour Patch Kids. Now, I will say this. I got it from where I work, and two girls, one girl.
I did not expect that to be white cream.
One girl that I bought. Wow. Well, it's got colorful inclusions in it. I don't know if you can see the big splotches of color. That means that man's bleeding internally.
Well, I just thought it would be like blue or red. Yeah, like blue and red.
Missed the joke about the internal bleeding?
I didn't, yeah, I did.
I'll move past it because I have that problem.
Just silent.
I wish we had video at that moment. For the record, I hate Sour Patch Kids. I don't like sour things.
Well, that's rather sour of you. Oddly, kind of slaps. Oddly, kind of good.
Holy fucking
It's
balls.
not bad. I'm shocked. Who would have thunk it?
I'm not. Or you can do anything, baby. Those motherfuckers know what they're
It's all
doing.
about that cookie and the cream.
Have you ever had the chocolate peanut butter pie Oreo?
Yeah, buddy.
You know what it tastes like?
What?
A chocolate peanut butter pie. Sorry. Are you okay? Are you okay? So my point is, Jake is currently dying.
No, I choked. I almost choked to death on that
I
fucking
almost
Oreo.
did the Heimlich. And what I was trying to explain is that Oreo, like, they make these cookies and they taste like the fucking things that they, it's. Look, AI has made it 10 times better. But did you ever see the movie Extract, the Mike Judge movie?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's a good movie. It's a fun movie.
It's a pretty fun movie. But the point of that movie that was big to me is that I really didn't know much about it. The general public doesn't know much about extract making.
Yeah.
And there's a huge company in central Iowa called Kemen that specializes in extracts and things like that. And, when you think about, you introduce AI into that, and, my God, you could eat, things that taste exactly like a whole cheeseburger with fries meal and a shake at once, right? Because they know how to manipulate the flavors to manipulate your taste buds.
all
and
those
whatnot.
fucking jelly beans, man. All the
Fuck, right? You know what I mean? So
Jelly Belly needs to be stopped.
So it just needs
Communist
to be.
detected on American soil. Lethal force engaged.
I'm sorry, the robot's here, man.
I'm gonna say one more. I'm gonna say one more thing.
Oh, say it real quiet so the robot doesn't.
I'll do it. But you ready?
Yeah.
We need to stop all of this synergy and all this cross shit, and we need to stop it right now because we need to we need to stop this
Death is a preferable alternative to communism.
God damn it.
Well, I was pretty loud.
Could you imagine the fact that we got this fucking robot standing in the corner? I don't know who put it in here.
Where the fuck did we get him? Did we win him as a prize?
Honestly, I think he's my uncle.
Wow.
Communism.
Yeah, we got it.
Lie.
We got it. Yeah. Got it. Thanks.
God, what's next? Is he going to talk about,
And at this point, I'm just like,
Kill me!
Honestly,
I know
you're gonna be surprised by this. You are, but
I'll eat your ass.
I enjoyed it. I liked it. It was tasty.
As I ate it, when I first took a bite with my mouth, I was pleasantly surprised by the texture and the flavor.
Swing the web.
And I was like, wow, this is pretty great. And then as it went further into my mouth, I really didn't like it as much anymore. So,
No.
yeah. Upon repeated, eatings and stuff,
So what are you giving it?
I'm going to give it a nice.
Nice.
It's not a boo fuck you, but it's definitely not a. It's definitely not a I'll eat your ass.
Well, it happens. All right.
But you know what? When I first started eating it, it was an I eat your ass.
You wanna?
So let's
I'll eat your ass.
let's talk about this piece of shit movie that fucking Sony keeps trying to foist on the American public.
Yeah. So, Kraven the Hunter, we've talked about a little bit on this show. When it's way back in July of 23, when it came out, the first trailer came out for it, and then it was supposed to come out in October of last year, and then the strikes happened, and then it got pushed to August of this year. But Sony decided again to push it to December, which I'd like to point out. Originally, where they had it in August 30th, didn't have a ton of competition. It was late August, right before the fall. Maybe you get a little bit of an audience there, but it could have maybe made a decent amount of money on that weekend. So people were like, "Well, what was the justification?"
Can I tell you what it is before we read all the shit?
Because this is funny.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I got an even better one.
Oh, what?
So at the end of this, we will talk about the movies that it is up against, but I won't reveal what they are right now. But here's my theory that these dipshits at Sony have. Hey, listen, man. Listen, if you have, say 100 people go to a 50-seat theater, right? Okay, and only. There's the only tickets that are left are for Kraven the Hunter. And they're like, we're going to see a movie no matter what it is, and we couldn't get tickets to these other ones. They're going to go see Kraven the Hunter. We're going to get overflow and they literally think instead of having a whole weekend to themselves, they realize it's such a piece of shit that people would rather stay home than go to the movies and see this piece of shit on a weekend by itself. So why even put it out there? But hey, if we put it out during Christmas season when everybody's going to the movies, there's bound to be overflow, even though there hasn't been overflow at the movies for like a decade almost, because the movies were dying before COVID, and fuck, it's not even close to being back. So way to go. And these people are in charge of gigantic fucking corporations,
Producer Matt Tolmach recently explained Sony's decision to move Kraven the Hunter from August 30th to December 13th. Quote, I want to be very clear that I'm quoting this, man, because this is amazing. Quote, Kraven moved to Christmas because we're excited about it, and Christmas is the best release period there is, when you get people with time to go back to the movies over and over again. First of all, I would agree that the Christmas release window is good because you got a lot of families that are kind of going to be in town for a little bit, so they're going to have time on their hands. They want to go.
Nobody wants to hang out with the family all the time.
And they want to go see a movie or something, so they can get 2 hours to just hang out with themselves or maybe some people in their family. Whatever. It's been a proven successful window, but not when you have some niche character like Kraven the fucking Hunter, a Spider-Man villain with no Spider-Man in it. Oh, by the way, you're supposed to root for him for some reason.
And can I be honest?
Can you be honest? Yes.
Kraven the Hunter was really cool when he was first introduced. Like, wow, that's a cool idea for a character. It's a neat idea, right? And then he was just like, what the fuck? And then The Last Hunt. And then it was like, cool. And here's the thing about this movie is I know they're not even touching his Russian heritage, like at all. They're not even talking about his disgraced father, which is what The Last Hunt fucking boiled down to, is him trying to fucking prove himself to
Russell Crowe's his dad in this, right?
Yeah, but who gives a shit? They're not. He's not even from Russia, is he?
I agree.
It's game over, man. It's game over.
Which is what you could say to the box office, because
But read what else he says when you're done.
But this is what I mean. Sony is so fucking arrogant and doesn't take a lesson from Madam Web, which, by the way, my wife put on before we went to bed, and I went to sleep in fucking protest. I'm like, I will not watch this movie. At the very least,
you like went upstairs. Like, you're like,
well, we were getting ready for bed anyway.
Gotcha.
But I would also say the only way I would watch that movie is if we do a commentary for it. If you and I watch it together, and the first time watching it would be us talking over it, because I'm not going to subject myself to that.
For sure, absolutely.
So another,
you know what? Hey, if you watch the Blues Brothers with me, then sure.
Talmuk continues to say, quote, that was a real reflection of how the studio felt about the movie. We're really excited, but that's a great move that reflects just the feeling about the movie. Like, they're really confident that this movie is going to do well.
No, you're not.
By the way, this movie is going up against Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which has honestly, the first two movies made a good amount of money, made a pretty solid box office.
The Sonic franchise is a hit.
Enough so that they can make 3, because I guarantee you these movies are not easy to make because you have to CGI characters into it. But anyway.
But 3 is going to have a big audience already built in.
Keanu fucking Reeves is going to be Shadow, man. I'm fucking in. There's a new Lord of the Rings movie coming out this year that I didn't know about. The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rim, or I don't know.
War of the Rohirrim.
Well, fuck Tolkien. I don't give a shit. And Mufasa the Lion King.
Which is what?
A prequel to The Lion King. So I mean, by the way, this Christmas season kind of sucks. I'm just saying, none of these movies. I mean, Sonic 3's whatever, but I'm not going to see that in the theater.
What I'm saying is, there's not a lot for like the average moviegoer to go out and see right now. And when you look at the proliferation of shit that's available to them on streaming and whatnot at home, why the fuck bother to go to the theater when you have to spend like upwards of $15 a ticket for each person in your family? Then you pay like $50 at least for each person for food and snacks, basic popcorn and pop and soda. And then, I mean, look, man, I can't even pause it to go to the bathroom because there's a bunch of other shitheads in the fucking theater that are watching it too. When you get down to it, there is no fucking reason for anybody to go to the movie theaters anymore whatsoever. And you're counting on a bunch of shitheads going out and going, yes, let's do that. Please, let's do that. Let's go to the theater
mediocre, stupid
the way
movie
we haven't done at all for the last decade. We have not done this in decades. But please, let us go fucking out to the movies and watch this stupid fucking movie that is a Spider-Man villain with no Spider-Man. I don't understand how you fucking I guess in my mind, I guess being a CEO of a big entertainment company is the whole arc is this. You get hired on because you're a fresh face and you have great new ideas, and then you do the same bullshit that the guy did before you does. You do the shit that the guy before you did to get himself fired. Then you get fired, and then you got a golden parachute, and then you go off to fucking Colorado mountains and fucking jerk off the rest of your life all over your money and shit.
So I'm coming day and night. I mean, it's terrific.
Is that what American corporations are up to? I mean, I don't know.
Woo yeah!
It just so. I mean, the douchebag running Warner Brothers, the fucking idiots running Netflix, the fucking. These people don't know what the fuck entertainment is, and they're running.
Communist detected on American soil. Lethal force engaged.
Why the fuck is he here?
I don't know. I don't know how to turn him off.
All right. Anyway.
But yes, you're right.
You know
People
what?
like David fucking Zaslav should not be in charge of art.
You know what I'm talking about,
Yes.
right? So it's just like, I mean, yeah. Anyway, let's not get him riled up again. Sorry about that.
Sorry, Liberty Prime.
Fucking dick.
I mean, it's not Liberty Prime. It's
Liberty fuckface.
It's Freedom Prime.
It's Liberty
it's Freedom
fuckface.
Prime, so we can't get fucking
Freedom fuckface is
right
what it
wing
is.
Prime.
Hey, I'm talking to you.
Fuckface.
So what's up next? Fantastic Four?
No, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Because it's a stupid idea to talk about.
All right, well, Punisher then. We've been reviewing.
I'm just kidding. God. Wow.
God.
I just like to wrap it up by saying it continues to amaze me the hubris of Sony, where they've continued. The audience has continued to show them time and time again. We just want fucking Spider-Man movies. Please, just make some fucking Spider-Man.
Do you
movies.
remember? Okay, so when Venom came out, I think
The Last Dance is coming out soon.
what?
At the end of this year.
What?
Venom: The Last Dance, the third movie.
Really?
Yeah.
At the end of this year?
Yeah.
Who's in it? I mean, obviously Tom Hardy.
I don't know. It's been pretty hush hush.
Huh?
Yeah.
So
this is the last Venom movie, by the way.
oh no.
He's gonna be in
Until
movie.
the next reboot.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, the whole point is, you want to give us. I remember when Venom first came out that I was like, okay, cool. Let's all do Spider-Man a favor, and this was before the Fox, before we knew Spider-Man was going to be allowed into the MCU, or right around the same time. I can't remember what.
It was after, because it was after Civil
Okay.
War.
And I was saying to people in my podcast, I was like, let's all do Spider-Man a favor and not go see this fucking movie at all. Like, at all. Like, let's literally, not show up and just tell Sony, don't fucking do this anymore. Don't fucking do this anymore. What the fuck did they do? They made now 3 shitty fucking movies and 2 decent, niche movies that are.
I mean, they're still bad, but they're like B movie bad.
If you lean into them, they're pretty cool, but they suck. Yeah, I mean, in terms of broad,
they're like B movies.
Yeah, but they're fun, and
Yeah.
that's the point of a movie, mostly, right?
Yeah. My dog's trying to fight me. Right
Trying
now.
to fight me.
He's giving me. I'm going to beat
giving
you
me
up.
the
ass.
air. I'm going to let you outside so you can pee, of course.
And he's saying,
Do it. Do it.
That's literally. Okay, what?
"Well, let's get ready for some comics, because we're only doing one book this week because someone forgot to do their
Also, I don't
homework."
want to fucking do that.
Whoa! Well, we're going to be talking about a comic that we both read this week, Punisher #9. Bang.
It's time for the Punisher review of the week.
Number 9.
Number 9, which is by
Jason Aaron.
Jason Aaron, Jesus Saiz, and Paul Azuquita. And
Sucks.
last issue, I believe, if I'm not mistaken,
He
ended with the Ares going through the thing, and he was like recasted into bullets.
Yeah, he recasted the dagger into bullets. Ares breached the gates. He had those Punishers that had their families murdered.
Let's do it the way we normally. You
you just drop it.
God damn it.
Come on.
But yeah,
he's ready to fight because he's fully accepted the beast at this point.
Yeah.
He has his personal guard with him. They fight. So this fight with Ares is really great. But before we even get there, we finally get a response from the Marvel
universe proper.
Yeah, the whole MU.
We've seen Daredevil come into the picture and blah and stuff, and
Daredevil's pretty much informing a stranger like, "Hey, it's worse than we thought." Like,
yeah,
he's
but is it a stranger?
And then we see a schnicked.
Schnickedy.
That's his intro.
Should I call you?
Everybody
Logan?
else
Weapon X
has songs, but he has schnickedy.
schnickedy.
Bub. And that's the thing.
I'm the best I do. I'm the best there is at what I do, and what I do isn't very nice.
Zip.
Thank you, Frank Miller. Let's go. He wrote that.
So we immediately jump into the conflict and the explosions, and it's Maria. Instead of the priestess, again, it's from Maria's perspective. Frank never liked to talk about war, even when things seemed better between us. When his walls locked in like they were tumbling down, and she's like, it was his mistress. So this beginning part makes it seem like, Frank was continuing the theme of this book of like, Frank was always meant to be this killer. He, and she said like he loved it, that it was his mistress. And then later in the book, it's kind of flipped on its head, and it's like I felt like I was the mistress.
Yeah.
And then it even gets twisted again, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this book, man?" And I love it. It's done in a way that is I think interesting by adding to the lore of this character, and also kind of playing with retconning, and we'll talk about that in a minute.
Well,
but so anyway, it's just Ares and
going along with what you're saying is, I talked about this a couple issues back. About how much better the book gets when it starts following Maria's point of view and her thoughts on Frank, right? That one issue that was pretty much her talking about being afraid of him.
Yeah.
Like it was mostly flashbacks, if you remember. I think it was like 6. Yeah. And this we're going to get into even more because, at the beginning of the book, even when we first started reviewing this book, we talked about how his wife and kids were always just accessories to his origin.
Yeah.
They
were always a means to
I
an
think
end.
people knew Maria's name, but other than that, right? But, not to put too fine a point on it or to sound like a dick, but mostly it was like, who fucking cares? The fact is that they're dead and they got killed by the mob.
It's his canon event.
Yes, right. And this book takes the rest of the world and how they viewed people who have usurped in real life these shitheads who've usurped this Punisher logo for really shitty things. That's the Punisher in this book. All those guys who usurp and put it on their cop cars, all that shit. That's the Punisher in this 12-issue series. And Maria is the rest of us going, what the fuck? And it is becoming more and more in this issue that we're seeing her kind of be like what, she's talking about how she is just as much of a human being as anybody.
So the narration of her talking about going to bars, like she was sneaking out at night, finding out where he was going and going to these bars and hearing these war stories.
Yeah.
And then hearing like how much of a war hero Frank was.
Right. And
to have that caption going and doing it in a way that is so.
Is this the one where they show him beating up the guy?
It's him killing Ares.
Right, but is there a flashback in here, or is that a previous issue? No, never mind. That's one coming up.
But to have that narration and then also follow it with him fighting the god of war.
Yeah.
And winning. because he's accepted this gift, and like the whole fight with him and Ares is so good because it's so brutal, it's so visceral, and
he finally shoots him and stops.
Oh my God,
he
it's so
stops
good.
Ares for like the first time since the book is open. Really,
Yeah.
the first time Ares has been like, "Oh, wait a fucking second! Now this is the
Yeah.
Frank that I know."
So yeah, we see Ares get shot, and then it's Frank in the air with fire coming around him, almost looking like wings, like this. He has fully become the beast, the fist of the hand. He has accepted the beast.
Yeah. The gifts of the beast.
Yeah, so then she would say that they would change their tone when they would talk about the war stories, and they like penitent men who'd seen the light of God on the road to Damascus. That's when they tell stories of Frank, and that shows him again shooting Ares. And then we have the flashback of what I think is really great about this. It is this book where even I was like talking about retconning and think it was retconning, and then you were like, "Wait a minute, is it?" And even in this book, in this issue, Aaron fucking toys with the idea of retconning his whole entire origin.
This part in the book, yeah.
To prove a point. But then Aaron puts another stamp on it, says, this is still my definitive response to the character. This is the definitive answer, and I'm keeping his fucking origins in there.
Dude.
I am telling you, this is an evolved Frank. This is where Frank ends. Like, it was so fucking good.
This issue, more than anything, I think is...
Because the whole idea is the hand orchestrated the attack.
I remember reading... can I say it real quick?
Because they keep saying that...
Yeah, I remember reading, because they've previously showed, obviously, and toyed with the idea that the priestess has been around forever in his life, right?
Yes.
Since the beginning. And they toy with the idea. I start reading this, and it's like I'm reading this, and I see where it's going and everything, and I'm like da 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 da, and she says, we must murder his entire family, and I'm like, what is he doing, right?
Yeah.
But it's so brilliant because yes, he goes like, no. Not
she
doing
says
that.
no, that we cannot interfere
Aaron
with his path to the
writes it like,
beast.
no,
we cannot interfere with this.
It has to happen the way it's supposed to happen.
We can't influence prophecy.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So fucking
Which is a
good.
great answer for Aaron to be like, no, motherfuckers, I'm going to keep his continuity. I'm keeping all of this character in. I'm adding to it, and then I'm putting a definitive end on it. Because to me, quite honestly, I think what attracts me so much to this story, and I know it's not the end because I'm pretty positive there's a fucking Punisher series going on right now at Marvel because these characters never stay dead. But I love the idea that Aaron is kind of just going for it and saying, like, this is my definitive, because he's written for Punisher before, and I truly feel like this was his, like, permanent, like, this is what I have to say about Frank. Like, this is it. And it's such a like fun way of being, again, just saying like, I'm not gonna retcon anything. I'm keeping it, and he makes such an important part of that in the first issue when you see the introduction, the title page, where it's that big splash of every version of the character, and it's again continuing that thing of like, no, we're going to add to it and reiterate.
Yeah.
So Maria is in the pit with the with the beast. Oh
see
yeah,
Black Widow?
Black Widow shows up. She's got a dossier saying like, no, it's worse than we thought. Like,
But she's talking to Captain America. So far we've seen Wolverine and Daredevil talking about him. And now we're seeing Captain America and Black Widow talk about him. And Captain America's basically like, I never wanted to have to do this, but if we got to take him down, man, fucking, I knew that was always a possibility.
Yeah. Well, Steve says, I think the old soldier inside me had always held out hope that Frank could be saved. Suppose it's time that soldier accepts defeat. Now, let's get this over with. So even Steve is like, okay, I know what Frank is capable of. Yeah, we can't let him have fucking superpowers. It's pretty much what he's saying. Like, all right, I hate to be this way, but some people just don't deserve, like, should not have superpowers.
There's kind of between Captain America and Punisher. The thing was, I remember reading this one series, this Punisher series, where it was it's after the death of Captain America in the book or in the comic books. He got killed and then he got resurrected.
Yeah.
Like way back in the late 90s or something like that. And Punisher actually wore a type of Captain America uniform and Bucky and can't remember who else, but two, I think Falcon, and they came after him because they were like, "You can't be doing that." And he's like, "Well, I respect this guy more than anybody else." Yeah. So Captain America and Punisher have a kind of grudging respect, but obviously Captain America does not go in for killing people. I don't know why he's never, in the comics, like really just gone after him. But
so then we come back to Ares.
I suppose he's
Frank
probably busy saving the world.
So Ares and Frank are fighting. So and again, it's back to the Maria narration talking about how revered he is. So like what I love about it is they're in the air fighting, and the caption says like over the years they'd begun to doubt what they'd seen with their own eyes, like they'd been given a glimpse of some sort of mythological creature, as he's again punching Ares, beating Ares in this fight. Frank Castle fully unleashed in a state of war, a god among men. And then of course clearly laying it on that this is gonna be it. We're not gonna toy. Like I think Aaron, even in this,
he explodes his fucking hand at one point.
I think at this point of the issue, Aaron is like, we have got to have these two fucking fight. We can't. Because
they already had like
nice twist.
They already had a tease
they had
earlier.
A great fight in issue 6. So it's like we had to.
But Ares kicked his ass.
And I'll be honest, this is what this book does and how well written it is. It's like I was bloodthirsty, man.
I'm rooting for Frank.
I want to see him fucking kill this guy. I want to see him brutally murder him. Like when it gets violent, I'm like, oh fuck! Like when they're fighting and he's got him down, he's punching, and it's just the fucking art, the fucking writing, it's the narration, the storytellers.
You can feel the wet fucking clap of the fist against the skull.
The storytelling all felt a sense of awe that having been to him in action, and it shows Ares punching him and there's blood flying up. And then it says profound gratitude for having Frank as their savior as he catches his fist and then explodes his fist with his fucking
because that was one of his gifts
powers.
Yeah, whatever, last issue.
So we see Ares coming out with a stump and then he takes the gun that has the dagger that has bullets,
blows
shoots the other fucking hand off. So he's just got bloody stumps and he's still coming at him. And there's this fight and Punisher finally fucking rips off the chest piece and he goes, Frank, I'm proud of, and as he's saying I'm proud of you, or he's about to say it, he puts one in his fucking eye and kills him. And it's like, by the end of that fight, like it's such a well-drawn, well-written fight that when by the end of it, I was like, fuck. Yeah. It's like I needed a cigarette.
Anybody got a cigarette?
Yeah, and it's so, and then the scene when he's fucking, I love how this, again, I just love how this is paneled. Because like it's paneled in like one long wide shot, but then there's other panels in between it.
Right.
Like it's a 2-page splash, but then there's panels into the bite. Like I just love how it looks because it shows him walking back after defeating Ares, just flames coming,
and
red
all
flames.
The Ares dudes are bowing to him.
They said, "Bless the new god of war, bless the war," and he fucking burns them
alive,
just because. Because
he told them last issue. He said, "None of you will leave this forest alive," and they didn't believe him.
The biggest shocking, crazy moment of this issue, is when
he walks back into the thing triumphant.
Priest is talking to him, and then the hand kind of pushed away, like, "No, make way, get out of the way." And she says, Maria says, "A thing I could see him was trying to walk away from in order to be with his family. Walking out of that bar after hearing those stories, I realized I never loved my husband more." And she's got like this like corset on, and she's like, "Welcome home, my love," and is like, she's into it. She's fucking into it. And like this whole series, up to this point, you are questioning everything about Frank. You're questioning everything about Maria. You're questioning everything about their relationships. To even be at this point where you think they don't belong together, and then he fucking pulls that on you at the end of this book. When Frank has become the Punisher, is the new god of war. Like
he's got his queen.
And now she's his queen, and she accepts him as his. It's like,
the last fucking panel, the last page of the issue, though.
And now we know. Okay, we're at to the point in these last 3 issues. The main MCU, Marvel canon is like, okay, now we got to fucking deal with Punisher again. We got to kill a god.
Yes, yeah. The last pan or the last page is how do you solve a problem like Frank Castle, and Moon Knight is also involved. So you basically got Doctor Strange, Captain America, Wolverine, Moon Knight, and Black Widow are all going to have to take them down. And it's an interesting group of Marvel characters, but other than maybe Ghost Rider, I think that's about right. Those are the ones most qualified.
Yeah.
Probably
It's gonna be
capable.
crazy. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, fucking shit.
Can't wait.
Fucking shit.
Can't wait.
So we're going to do one each?
No. We ain't doing shit.
How long have we been...
God dang it.
How long...
Trying to put this fucking comic book away.
we still recording?
Yeah, I'm still recording, Tyler. You think I give a quit on this?
I don't know. Board still hooked up.
People have been trying to get a hold of me. They said, "You're a little bitch," and I said, "What?"
Wow.
And I said, "Hey," and they said,
Come here!
Whoa!
It's a long box.
Yeah, it is.
Tyler, what do you want to talk about? Why am I so mad about it? Oh, okay.
What do you want to talk about, you jackass? Oh, go ahead and talk into the microphone.
That guy died recently, so R.I.P. to that guy.
Who?
Yeah, jackass.
Joe Flaherty?
Yeah, he died recently.
No shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought I heard.
R.I.P.
He was, he's one of the best parts of. He was Guy Caballero, who is the owner of the Second City Television, on the SCTV show back in the day. A little trivia for you.
Don't make me do it.
Sure. So I've been watching a lot of movies that either whatever. It's not point. There's no point in describing it. It's just sometimes I'm bored watching
Been
shit.
getting deep in it, man.
Well, yeah, like I got Prime and I got Max, and sometimes I just go to movies and action and just I've never seen this, or I remember that whatever. Next week I'll talk about Killing Them Softly, starring Brad Pitt. Interesting.
Will it be with this song or?
Has nothing to do with the song. I know, right? That's why I was like, "What the fuck is this movie about?" He's got a big shot.
Brad Pitt in this movie?
I knew it had nothing to do with the song, dude. But
call me a douche.
But the cover is. I was gonna call you a jackass. But the cover of the movie poster is Brad Pitt with a shotgun. It's like what? Okay.
What?
Thank you. So one of the movies, Jesus Christ, Jake's microphone just attacked him. Good God. Where were you on that one, Cooper? Way to protect your guy.
He's just fucking sleeping. What a
literally-
freeloader. This dog.
You know what? He gets all mad when we pretend to fight.
But he doesn't do shit.
Shit when it's needed.
We rides on the machines.
We've had a robot in the corner forever, like this whole show trying to kill us about stuff, and Cooper hadn't done shit. I'm just kidding. Cooper's awesome.
Cooper
Right?
saw that robot and he said,
Oh my God.
So my movie this week is Planet of the Apes, because the new Planet of the Apes is already out.
Kingdom, yes.
Okay.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
I don't really care to see it in the theaters,
You
but
fucking ass. I wanted to see it in theaters. Who was I going to see it with?
fucking ass.
Who's going to see the monkey movie with? Huh?
So
Anyway.
I just said, well, you didn't say anything about Godzilla vs. Kong 2 or whatever it is.
You didn't, yeah, well.
Yeah, so shut up. That's a drop. You could use that along with, yes.
Oh, yeah, keep calling your drops, Sammy Sosa.
Whatever, Bob. Marv Albert. Yes. From way downtown.
Come here!
That's the listener right now.
So Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Never seen it before. I've seen clips. I think I may have been like in a room where it's been watched by somebody. I know. Shut up, fuck up. I mean, like when I was a kid.
What do you do with movies, Tyler?
No, I'm saying like when I was a kid, like maybe my dad was watching it while I was playing.
Yeah.
But I didn't pay whatever. And everybody knows about the big twist ending or whatever. But I've never watched it. And let me tell you, the movie. Have you ever watched it?
Yeah, I have all the.
So you've seen.
I have all the
so the
movies.
beginning of the movie is Charlton Heston on a spaceship,
Yeah.
which is pretty fucking cool. And you're like, oh, this is unexpected. I mean, right?
Yeah.
And then you realize that wow, there's some other people involved too.
It makes you really think that he went to a different planet.
Well, you're right. For its time, the special effects are pretty good. The cinematography is great. The way that they filmed everything, it looks like, there's, a dead part of the world and there's a lush part of the world, like the jungle and whatnot. But we talked on the phone a little bit. Charlton Heston just fucking chews the fuck. Like,
get your hands on me.
No, but even before that, when he's on the spaceship and he's smoking a cigar. On a spaceship? Yeah. Good, Sorry, I was getting loud. But he's all like, yes, well, maybe by the time we get back, man will have stopped killing his brother. And I paused it there and I was like, this is the motherfucker who held up a gun in Colorado right down the street from Columbine like a week after that school shooting and said, "From my cold dead hands." Just wanted to throw that out there.
You're on the side of the apes in this movie, I suppose.
No, but even like they land and he's really getting the go to this one guy landing. And I'm kind of like, why is he being a dick to this guy? And he's just having fun, whatever. But they start to realize that they're not alone on this planet, and it turns into this really big. There's some action set pieces, but to me, the big meat of the movie is Charlton Heston. You know what I mean? When his loincloth shifted to one side, you're like, God damn, was that Milton Berle or Charlton Heston?
Oh my God.
Yep. Big old wanger. The meat.
Sloppy.
Yep. Sloppy continuity and costuming department on that movie that we saw his cock so many times. And we loved it. That's why it's a hit. You just play something. At some point, you're just hovering your goddamn finger over the... So... I'm sorry, I had to critique you. It's like watching.
You egg-sucking piece of gutter trash.
There you go. It's like watching two old people fuck. You're like, get on with it already. Jesus, I know you got artificial hips.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Yep.
This is how the game over.
How long it took me to get my dick right? Okay, so well, it's old people. They got to take like 8 pills and schedule stuff. Anyway.
What'd you do?
So Planet of the Apes.
The show.
So Planet of the Apes.
That's a drop in itself. So
yeah.
Planet of the Apes.
So but the big part of the movie is this philosophical debate throughout of what is free will, and it's you can kind of see there's not a very subtle reference to like the Spanish Inquisition, having too much power of one religion or another in government, in science, things like that. Yeah. Obviously the allegories are there, but I don't think I had ever actually seen that whole part of when he, sees it and then he does the, pounds the sand and
you bastard,
you maniac, it's just so hammy, dude.
But it's such
all I can think about is how fucking great his fucking hair looked.
Well, I was gonna say in general, I think it's a genuinely good, even though the movie's been out since the 60s, so it's been spoiled. We all know the twist.
Well, it's been spoofed,
but it's such a good
best in space.
It makes such sense though, and it's such a great twist. If you are watching it for the first time,
yes,
you have no reason not to believe he's on Earth. There's no reason not to. You truly think he's on a different planet.
Yes,
and to have that reveal, it is kind of like,
the first hint that you get is like 5 minutes before when Dr. Zaius tells him you might not like what you find.
Well, it's even crazier
because Zaius knows what's up.
It's even crazier now because the originals you had like I think there's 5 movies, and
I almost started watching Beneath the Planet of the Apes, and then I said, "Fuck that shit."
They get fucking weird.
I said, "Fuck that shit."
They get really weird.
I said, "Fuck that shit."
But so those the Caesar trilogy, so Rise, Dawn, and War, that trilogy being a prequel adds so much more to this movie. It does what a really good reboot or a remake should do, is it adds so much more to the original because you see the event that caused the apes,
Well,
and the rise of the apes, and what caused them to become the dominant species, and to see that, and then see this movie where you're like, oh shit, man, like there's so much more weight to this.
Yes,
yeah,
and that's one of the things is it, you know, a lot of movies, if you lean into it, like they're really fucking good. And Planet of the Apes, yeah, the makeup's a little hokey, but it's pretty fucking good. It does what it's supposed to. The set design and shit is awesome. I mean, they built a lot of their own sets and shit. The spaceship looks real, whatever, right? Costuming, all that shit. It was really, really good. And again, it's a classic for a reason because it's just a really, again, Heston, even though it's hammy, he just rocks it. It's a good movie. If you've never seen it, but you've seen like the Caesar trilogy, is Kingdom now the fourth one then?
So
the prequels,
Kingdom is set. I don't know how many years, but it's set
like 100 years
after the death of Caesar.
Yeah,
because Caesar dies in war.
Yeah,
so it's set like 100 years after that, 200 years after that. I don't know, but it's hundreds of years, or maybe it's a big period of time. There's a big time jump. So I think maybe it's 1 or 2 generations after the death of Caesar. But again, well, that's a great example of like the prequels leaning into the twist of that original movie and saying, okay, fine, but let's tell you how it got that way.
Yeah, which is cool.
Because it's like that Punisher book, what we're talking about, where it's not retconning it, it's adding to it and filling in the gap.
Yes.
And we'll have a different conversation about this because I'd love to. I have them all on Blu-ray. I'd love to the prequel trilogy and all the original movies. I would love to talk about them again because I love those movies.
Sure.
But it's an example where like what I've been talking about like with like the Obi-Wan series and why I personally didn't like it because I didn't feel like it was. If you're gonna be a prequel, make it work. I mean, I don't really like it on principle. I'm kind of
as somebody whose first entry into Star Wars was the original Star Wars. I fucking loved every minute of that fucking show.
So my point is this is like those it adds to it. It shows you like it's a really great franchise and it still has legs. Like the most recent movie made a lot of money and made a they're gonna probably get another one.
The Punisher book that we're reading, if you think about it, the Punisher's origin has always been Frank Castle's family got killed by the mob and then he became the Punisher to avenge them. All Jason Aaron is doing with this book is putting a space or a pause at the end of family got killed by the mob. And then filling in everything in between and then became the Punisher. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's cool as fuck. So, yeah, Planet of the Apes, I give it I'll eat your ass. Or do I have
I'll eat your ass.
Do I have a yes or anything?
Yes!
There you go.
Yeah.
I give it a high thumbs up.
So now my long box, which is...
Whip, swing, whip.
Ooh.
Kinda.
You're just like Sony. You're bait and switching ass.
Bait and switching ass.
Hey, here's a Kraven movie, but no Spider-Man's not in it.
Get out. Spider-Man.
Get out of my house.
Get out of my house, Spider-Man.
Get out of my house, Spider-Man. Spider-Man, quit eating all my cheese.
Damn it, Spider-Man. Always swinging in here eating my Cheez-Its.
I am not a fan of Spider-Man. Yeah, that rhymes.
Don't let Spider-Man get your Cheez-Its. Get your Cheez-Its today. Thanks. This episode has been sponsored by Cheez-Its.
Spider-Man proof your Cheez-Its with Spider-Man away.
So anyway, I want to talk about Venomverse. So this was the back again. This is I think I say again because the last episode I kind of talked about it. I won't talk about Edge of Venomverse. I'll just talk about Venomverse. Because Edge of Venomverse is essentially it's a 5-issue miniseries, but it's 5 one-shots essentially. It's just 5 like setting up these characters that will be in Venomverse. Because Venomverse is a 5-issue book, and it is like trying to reestablish Venom in the Marvel canon. This is like right before Donny Cates takes over, and so this is like them reestablishing. Okay, Venom is with Eddie Brock again,
right?
Because we got to make this character relevant in the comics. Because we got to Sony's
love Venom Space Knight. By the way, such a good fucking
because you know Sony has got Sony's got to get you interested in that Venom movie, so we got to do this. And this was that. And honestly, I've talked about the Donny Cates run several times on this show. How much I love it. So I was still interested in this because this was Cullen Bunn, and Cullen Bunn's always done really good.
He wrote the Deadpool Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Secret Wars.
He's done a lot of stuff with Deadpool, and you could clearly tell that he likes working with the Deadpool character because Deadpool plays a factor in this
smart
story.
Fucking writer, too.
But so yeah, this whole concept is Venom the story starts with Venom fighting Jack-O-Lantern. And then out of nowhere, he just gets blipped. He's just like into something. He's like, "What's happening?" And just now he's in a separate universe, and he's greeted by a Venom Captain America. Mm-hmm. And then we quickly get well, we already knew this because the book is called Venomverse. But you get introduced to all the characters that are Venomized. There's a Rocket Raccoon. There's X-23. There's Old Man Logan, specifically Old Man Logan, because they do an issue where he fucking fights the T-Rex that was venomized in that book, and that's how he gets the symbiote. Deadpool. I'm trying to remember. And Doctor Strange, Venom. They're all venomized, and Doctor Strange brought him through. Brought Eddie Brock.
I have a venomized Captain America Funko Pop.
Also, there's an Ultimate Spider-Man that just kept the fucking symbiote suit because we always have to have Spider-Man involved in a Venom book somehow. I mean, come on. So the whole premise of this book is just like all these venomized characters are all together because there's these this species called the Poisons, and it's these little like weird little white monster looking dudes that like
little dudes
by themselves are not very
they look like little boogers until you climb them all up, and then they look like men.
So what happens is they bond with the symbiote suit, and they just take over.
Is it like fin rot for fish? You know what I mean?
Well, they give them like hardened armor and stuff. Like they still talk and communicate. But it what it does is it kind of like it the whole thing is like eventually it eats the host. So like the people that are the people that are controlled by the poisons will eventually get eaten by them because they just keep eating the symbiotes. And so when Doctor Strange was calling in all these other Venoms, what he was doing was just giving them more food. Like they're like, we're just going to keep consuming you and get bigger and better and blah, blah, blah. So like there's this whole conflict with that. It's a pretty silly, fun crossover book. Like a venomized Deadpool gets infected on purpose. Like you think he's gonna be he's like says you can't beat him, join him. He gets infected on purpose, and then he is one of the reasons why.
So is there an overarching story, or is it
the
just
story is essentially they're trying to fight the poisons because the poisons keep killing all these venoms.
Because I bought Edge of Spider-Verse like #1, and I thought it was like a story about like this and that, and it turns out to be an fucking thology.
Yeah, so that's what Edge of Venomverse, and then Venomverse actually has an overarching narrative.
Okay, see,
it's
I
a
would
mini-series.
read Venomverse, and I would read Spider-Verse, but Edge, fuck off.
It's a fun book. I liked it a lot as a Venom fan.
It sounds cool.
It's a pretty, but I mean, it's a pretty run-of-the-mill miniseries. Multiverse miniseries. Like it's a fun book, but at the end of the day, it's not really that significant because it's a multiverse story. So like all these characters are gonna go back to these multiverses. Who cares, And that's why like the stakes are kind of weird because there's a setup. I don't know if there is a sequel. I'm pretty sure there is a sequel to this, but there's a setup to another one because like the head honcho of this whole poisons is an infected Doctor Doom. So, but
venomized Doctor Doom.
Another reason I love it is like what I love about these miniseries is especially Venom. Like it has a checkbox even from the 90s, whereas you have to. There's a fight with fucking Spider-Man in the first issue. Spider-Man gets infected and he fights Venom. Carnage shows up. They fucking pull in Carnage to help. So guess what? Stereotypical, and I don't care. I love it. The stereotypical comic book trope of like, oh, my villain has to be my friend for this miniseries. So it hits those two check boxes. Has something.
Dude, the first Carnage story is the greatest like Venom Spider-Man team up.
Yeah.
Because at that point, after the first encounter with Venom, he finally convinces him that he's dead, that Spider-Man's dead. So he has to go and get him to help him fight Carnage, and then he has to fucking betray him and
Here's one's even better. You had that fight with Spider-Man in the first issue. You better fucking believe they fight again in the 5th issue, the last issue of the miniseries, because of course you do. Because you know what?
Duh.
Lean into it. Venom and Spider-Man fucking fight each other. They fucking hate each other, and it's better when they fight each other, all right? I'll say it. However, I'm okay with how the characters evolved. But I still am a geek that pops when I'm like, hell yeah, Venom and Superman fighting, or Venom and Spider-Man fighting each other again.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's a nostalgia thing.
Do
you know what I mean?
I've talked to you about the Ghost Rider Wolverine Punisher crossover book.
Fucking most random book ever written.
Right. It's the first appearance of Blackheart in the comics. It was a big deal. It was like a deluxe. Wow. It was a deluxe edition. And I bought it, and it was really good. John Romita Jr. did the art. I think Howard Mackey was the writer. But here's the thing. Yeah, they fucking put it out because it's like these three are our biggest sellers. So guess what? We're going to have them all three, and guess what? It's going to sell.
It's a Venom book. He's going to fight Spider-Man.
Right.
He's going to fight Carnage. You know what you got yourself into.
Fucking hate fucking
Look at my fucking hair flopping around. Hurry.
I fucking hate your hair. Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.